breaking free from the character you play. Our suffering stems from identifying with the character we believe ourselves to be. From childhood, society, and life experiences, we are conditioned to adopt roles, behaviors, and identities that we think define who we are. These roles, whether professional, familial, social, or personal, form a mask or character that we play in our daily lives. While some of these roles are necessary for functioning in society, over-identification with them leads to egoic patterns, stress, and disconnection from our true self. Breaking free from the character you play is not about abandoning responsibilities or social roles. It is about recognizing the difference between the false self, which is role-based, and the true self, which is the presence that observes all roles without attachment. 1. The nature of the character you play. The character is the set of behaviors, stories, and mental constructs that you adopt to define yourself. Tolle describes this as the egoic identity, which thrives on separation, comparison, and validation. Examples include the successful professional, the devoted parent, the victim of circumstances, the perfectionist or critic, the friendly, likable persona. Each character is built on mental and emotional patterns, past conditioning, and societal expectations. While the roles themselves may appear harmless, the problem arises when you mistake the character for your true self. The character seeks approval and recognition, fears judgment or rejection, clings to past narratives and imagined futures, defines self-worth based on external outcomes. In contrast, the true self is the silent observer, the presence that exists beyond thought, roles, and identity. 2. How the character limits life. Playing a character creates a constant inner tension. Do you act according to what you think is expected rather than what you truly feel? Do you react automatically, reinforcing habitual patterns? Do your happiness and sense of fulfillment become tied to external validation? A fear, anxiety, and resentment arise when reality does not align with the character. Tolle emphasizes that the egoic character lives in resistance. It is rarely at peace because it constantly evaluates experiences as good or bad, favorable or unfavorable. It clings to the past and worries about the future, missing the freedom of the present moment. 3. Recognizing the character. The first step to breaking free is awareness. You must learn to observe the character without judgment. And notice when you are reacting automatically. Identify the roles you habitually play. Observe your thought patterns and emotional triggers. Recognize the desire to control how others perceive you. Tolle suggests that presence is the antidote to over-identification. When you are fully present, you notice the character as if it is a costume you are wearing, not your true essence. 4. The illusion of the self-image. The character you play is tied to self-image, the story you tell yourself about who you are. Tolle explains that a self-image is constructed from external labels, past experiences, and social expectations. It is fragile and dependent on validation. It reinforces separation, comparison, and judgment. Breaking free involves seeing the self-image for what it is, a mental projection. When you realize that you are not your story, not your thoughts, not your roles, the grip of the egoic character begins to loosen. 5. Practices to break free. Cultivate presence. Presence is the foundation for liberation from the character. Pay attention to the sensations in your body. Observe thoughts and emotions without attachment. Rest in the awareness that precedes identification. As presence strengthens, you notice the character without reacting automatically. You begin to choose conscious responses rather than habitual patterns. B. Observe without judgment. Tolle emphasizes watching the character like a spectator. Observe habitual behaviors without trying to change them immediately. And notice the emotions and thoughts tied to the character. Recognize that these are patterns, not the essence of who you are. This creates space between the egoic self and your awareness, allowing freedom to emerge. See, accept what is. The character often resists reality when things don't go as expected. Breaking free requires accepting the present moment fully, letting go of attachment to outcomes, embracing life as it unfolds, rather than clinging to a role or identity. Acceptance does not mean passivity. It means acknowledging reality without egoic resistance. Disidentify from thoughts and emotions. The egoic character is built on identification with thoughts and emotions. Observe recurring thought patterns without saying, "I am this thought." Notice emotional reactions without claiming, "I am this emotion." Recognize that the observer behind thought is your true self. This practice gradually dissolves the power of the character, revealing presence as the constant foundation. Stop playing roles unconsciously. Many roles are habitual and automatic. The angry parent, the anxious employee, the fearful friend, the perfectionist, the victim, or the critic. Ask, am I reacting from my true self or from the character I am playing? Pause, breathe, and choose consciously. Over time, the need to act out egoic roles diminishes. 6. The freedom beyond character. Breaking free from the character is not about rejecting life or responsibilities. It is about living authentically from presence. Actions are aligned with awareness rather than egoic need. Relationships become more genuine, as interactions are no longer based on performance. A life becomes less reactive and more peaceful. Inner joy arises naturally, independent of circumstances. Tolle calls the state being free while in the world. You still engage in society, but you no longer suffer from the constraints of egoic identity. 7. Common obstacles. 1. Resistance to letting go. The character feels familiar and safe. 2. Fear of social judgment. People often cling to roles to maintain acceptance. 3. Attachment to outcomes. Ego seeks validation through success, recognition, or approval. 4. Identification with past experiences. Old stories reinforce the character. Awareness and presence are the tools to navigate these obstacles. By observing without attachment, the character gradually loses control. 8. Signs you are breaking free. Do you feel less reactive and more present in each moment? Emotional triggers lose intensity and hold. Do you notice patterns without being consumed by them? Relationships feel more authentic and less performative. Inner peace becomes more accessible, even in challenging situations. 9. Integration into daily life. Morning awareness. Begin your day by observing your breath, your body, and your presence. Notice any habitual roles you might step into. During daily interactions, pause before reacting. Ask, is this my true response or a reaction from the character? Reflection. At the end of the day, review moments when the character dominated. Simply observe without judgment and acknowledge your growing awareness. 10. The deeper message. Tolle reminds us that we are never the character we play. The character is temporary, changeable, and constructed by thought. The true self, the awareness behind the roles, is eternal, unchanging, and free. Breaking free is not about erasing personality or responsibilities. It is about seeing through the illusions of ego, responding from presence rather than habit, discovering the freedom and joy inherent in simply being. When we stop identifying with the character, life becomes lighter, more vibrant, and deeply meaningful. Presence replaces performance. Peace replaces anxiety. Love and acceptance replace judgment and fear. 11. Conclusion. The character you play is like a mask, necessary in some contexts, but often limiting and ego-driven. By cultivating awareness, observing thoughts and emotions, and embracing presence, you gradually step out of the roles that no longer serve you. True freedom lies in realizing you are the awareness behind the character. Your essence is beyond roles, labels, and mental stories. Presence, not performance, is the source of joy and peace. Breaking free from the character is a lifelong practice, yet each moment of awareness brings liberation. Through consistent practice, you can live authentically, fully aligned with your true self while still engaging meaningfully with the world.